caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama's face. Yeah, I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama's face. Yeah.
For me, it's like I was telling you. It's just like you were saying. There are a mix of things. There's the jail talk that happens, of course. There's the guys that look at if you pay like you wear, you stay. They need their canteen.
But sometimes that's their real feelings. But then they get out of jail. Life
and then
happens.
There's that.
Man.
That's
like,
what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna tell you how it happens, though.
You know
no, absolutely not. But
then, listen, and not only that right there. Let me let Ro finish. But I just, not only that. This is the misconception about prison game. Because I was young, probably played that same thing. You don't know. But the point is, prison game really is a lot of prison pain. Yeah. So people that are probably, you think are doing something to you are really doing something to themselves because if they understood the worth of you, even having somebody in that prison, they'd understand this ain't nothing to be playing with or risking. Yeah. So really, we all kind of messed up during that growth of the system.
Right.
Like for example.
Let's put it back to the system that's creating.
For example, I'll take my situation, right? That was true and there, that came out, whatever. I didn't intend for that man to lose his job, right? I didn't intend for any of the things to happen to happen. Like my situation, right? So my situation is a CO. Everybody know the story, whatever the case may be.
What's the story? I don't know the story. Like you mentioned.
I dated a CO one time. In one of my bids, I dated a CO.
Shit.
Whatever the case would happen. I didn't intend for the things to happen. But did I like the person when I came home? No. So what I learned from that was you're in there, right? And this is me as a woman, like this is what I learned and this is what makes it change. And I started seeing it in guys and I changed my mind and concept on that jail talk or they just, no, you're not intentionally harming that person. You know what I mean? Emotionally. So when you're in there, all you have is this, right? This unit, this block. So for me, like all you see is this person that might be the flyest thing with the most swag or the most whatever in here. They start writing, you writing each other, that you're building, and this is all you see. So I'm not gay, so I'm not looking at the chicks. I'm looking at this. This is all you see. So, okay, it's cool for the moment. You think you like them. Well, you do, whatever the case may be. Then when you come out, it's like, damn, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? You start dating. You start going out. You leave the prison walls. It's the whole reality of society.
So you was dating a CO while you was incarcerated, and then you was dating him when you came home as well?
When we came,
But he got fired?
For a short period of time. He got fired for something else, but yeah.
He got fired because of dating you? Or?
No. Okay. Other things that came up, but part of that was
Did they question him about dating you at the time?
Is there any legality issues to this right here? Because I'm going to protect my sister, right?
No,
I kind of know the story. I'm saying
no.
that's good for the readers to get the story. I always was conscious of whether you sue or involved in that, cases come back, and what's the time limit?
Ro mentioned this, right,
to
me, right? Without these cameras, but I'm playing dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it's for the audience, whatever. They might want to know. You mentioned it, so it's like, how can you mention it and not touch on it? You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to incriminate Ro.
And I won't tell them.
So of course not. She's safe on both sides,
cool.
right?
Yeah, the facts.
Right.
But we're going to not let her do it to herself.
We're not going to incriminate him.
She tried to incriminate me a couple times.
No, I didn't. No, but even him, we're not going to incriminate him. We know him. We're not going to incriminate him. Yeah, so we're not going to incriminate him. We know him, but it is what it is.
All
like,
right, well, forget that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But for me, like I said, like let's go back to the original thing. It's like, so for me, it was that part of it. Because anybody else I dated before I went in. But it was that part of it, and that's when I learned, like, it's not jail talk. Because for me, it was a jail talk. That's how I felt at the moment.
Oh, so, okay.
But when you come out,
you learn from yourself.
Yeah.
You learn from yourself.
Myself, from that
because
situation.
what we're trying to get across is that I'm not saying it, man. I was a letter writer. You know what I mean? Like the truth, they'll come eventually, even for others. The point was, you're not really doing it for the intent of hurt. You're doing it for the intent of adding to someone, adding some love to someone, adding an opportunity, and at the same time, if you're honest with yourself, you're like, yo, probably lonely up in here. No matter how hard you are, when that cell door, if you don't have the conscience to realize that you alone.
That cell door closed, and you be like, damn.
No, but if you don't have the consciousness
I'm by myself,
to know that you're alone. You have to know what alone is. Alone is not just because I'm alone, bro.
Right.
Alone is being able to say, I can't apply what I am. There's a difference in alone. That's why people out here don't understand why other people may commit suicides or
Right,
why they're going through what they're going through,
Like,
because
you
they got people
enjoy
that
those
overtalk
conversations.
that part,
Right.
bro. This is important.
Yeah,
you
you enjoy those
when you
conversations with somebody outside of here. Like, I'm tired of hearing all these, you know what I mean? These women and these.
I
so-
get what he's saying, because when you're in
Yeah.
that cell and you're fucking restricted from doing everything, you can't
Right.
be who you're restricted. It's like, damn. It's kind of like, because, I was incarcerated for a little bit of time, right? So when I called, like, sometimes I didn't want to call.
Nope.
Because I don't want to hear the good stories and shit. I
Right,
go back
I'm
to
bored.
this fucking cell.
Bored.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They laughing on the phone. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking do my time. Fuck this phone shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
But sometimes you got to paint a picture for people.
It might be 2 weeks. I'll be like, yo, I'm leaving the phone. So my cousin Rodney he'd be like, oh, he ain't using the phone right now. And the people be like, yo, tell him to call me.
Yeah.
Like, yo, he ain't using the phone.
But so many
Because I'm
people
like,
are
yo, I'm
selfish and
stay
they don't
away from that
understand
2 week
that.
time because I'm in jail. Y'all go
Right.
back to having fun. I go back to my cell. Like, I'm in this motherfucker by myself. Like he
Right.
said, I'm alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got a whole bunch of thoughts going through your head. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I just think
most
everything
time
is
to
different.
sit down and think. You're
Yeah.
thinking about every fucking thing in life. You might think about elementary, middle school.
Right, but I'm
Think
trying
about
to
everything.
establish the difference in being alone, right? I don't want people to assume that my personal loneliness was based on that cell. Obviously, the result of God tells me I can handle your cells.
Right.
I can handle your oppressions. You know what I mean? I got a little bit of Nat Turner spirit in me. I got a little bit of my tribe, the Blackfeet Indian in me. I got a little bit of my father being carried, these fighter forces in me without me even knowing. Doesn't mean that I was built for and qualified for and was supposed to be, the guy that gets in there, Floyd Mayweather with you. I wasn't in my position for that.
Yeah.
I was actually, it took me a minute to know that, but I was in the position of prison when I woke up to it by watching what I was doing. Won a United Nations award in that prison, many other awards, and worked with some good brothers to do some good stuff that was out here. People like Dickinson and Reverend Dickinson, all due respect, and Minister Randy, all of them, they know they were part of it, right? Bullying videos, we've done all that, but I wasn't in there that kind of alone. I understood. I was growing to realize, like, what is alone? In my loneliness, I learned what is alone. I wanted to have the factors of these things before I started talking. I didn't want to tell people about prison. We can Google right now and find 9,000 stories, and that's when we're going to overtalk ourselves about somebody coming out of jail. Everybody out of jail going to get a podcast. We learning what to do, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, did we learn the situation itself, in the situation? Not come out here and mimic it.
Right.
You understand that? And mimic it means you didn't apply it until you're doing it. And the reason I look at that, when I see we talk about this, don't be misinterpret this. When I see Ro trying to do what she's doing, you trying to do what you're doing, and I'm going, yo, they invited me a long way for me. You know what I mean? They invited me, they doing the show, look at Ro, program, this is where she's supposed to be. But the people that would know, who think they know her, would look at it like, that ain't where she's supposed to be.
Right.
They assume that we work like books or items in your home that you can put up against something. And when I put that down, it's going to be there when I come back unless you touch it. Right? We're not items. We're actually moving human beings. She's where she's supposed to be. People don't know the difference. So in prison, whatever she was there for, I know for me, I caught on that, this is how God's playing. Devil's going to go to work on you, man. Listen, I already did this. If you want to say Jesus is my son and you understand that mathematic, whatever your religion is, let's just be sure that he went to a cross. And before that, the devil had him for 40 days in the desert and all kind of stuff. So God will put you through something. That's common sense to me. That's the only reason I'm reading the Torah, the Quran. I want to know about the sufferers, Job, and that type of thing. Bro, once I was suffering, I understood the difference of alone. And we not taking a resume. What Ro has is what I confidently will say I have. A resume of doing time. There's a difference. So someone else will get a slot. That really, Ro will do best in that slot. Now, I'm going to prove this to you. Will do best in the real extreme circumstances, Ro will do best in that spot because she's built culturally and spiritually for that fight. You understand? Just like a Malcolm, a Harriet Tubman, she's built, it's a spirit given to you. We don't control that. We can misuse it. We can not know how to use it, but she's built for that, right? I feel like it was destined for me to be built for that, right? But to apply it to people that are lonely, to give them the actual fact of how to work around your loneliness. Otherwise, we're going to have kids out here feeling hurt. The worse this gets for America, right? And the worse it gets for the economy and everything, our kids suffer. And they don't know what to do with that suffrage. I want them to know, like, in this box, here's the tricks and techniques that I learned and why I was able to constantly be involved in your community from the prison, because I understood this is the real life. You have to bring them out of that box. You know what I mean? To let them know, out of that dark. We're responsible for bringing our kids out of that dark, bro. It's a dark time. That is a gift. You know what I mean? That is a gift. And she has that gift. And no, I'm saying, and you have that gift. There's no thank you. It's the factual. We might not even know the course. Even God having us here now, right? You know what I mean? All praise to Allah. Having us here right now will put us in a situation to be able to say, you and Ro think, this is how I look at it. This is how I see it coming to me from the Spirit. You might look at it that you and Ro, right, are just doing a little show. But in my mind, I'm sitting here saying, we can talk about anything we want, frivolous shit or whatever. But in reality, the only reason I drove down here, because the Spirit, for me, not the one that everybody's looking at this thing right here. I'm talking about this man's spirit that got me out of there and kept me safe, that showed me how to hold that part mentally and spiritually, right? Has told me, like, these are the opportunities to do those. Never mind what this big paper's talking about. I got all kind of stuff I'm doing. Never mind what the radio show over there talking about. Yo, over here is where you're supposed to be, because he got a message.
Right.
He or she has a message that we can get across. So this time right here is almost like the message. It's the beginning. It ain't the last time bro gonna do a show, you gonna do a show, I'm gonna do a show. I think the idea is to be able to say you about to see a show.
I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama face. Yeah, I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile